Good evening. My name is Daniella Robinson, and I grew up in Oceanside, New York, spent several years in New York City, Boston, and West Hartford, Connecticut, and now I live in Efrat, Israel. I want to begin by thanking Nechama Aryeh for reaching out to me last week, asking if I'd be interested in participating in the Young Israel of Oceanside's Yom Hazikaron program. I was very honored and moved by this invitation because it gives me an opportunity to share what my current community has experienced over the last 2 weeks as a resident of the Zayit neighborhood of Efrat, as former tenants of the Dees, and as friend of Lucy and Leo. For the first 2 years we lived in Israel, from 2018 to 2020, we rented a unit within the Dee home. Lucy was the first person to welcome us to Efrat with some well-needed ice pops on a very hot July day. Maia and her sister Karen frequently babysat for our kids. Here's a picture of our kids on the last day of their first school year in Israel in June 2019 in front of our home, the Dee home. The Dee family name is visible on the sign behind them. After we moved out of the Dee home 2 blocks away, I became a good friend of Lucy's. Lucy was instrumental in organizing a shiur for women on Shabbat afternoon that meets in homes of the participants, and with her encouragement, we hosted the shiur in our home a few times. Leo attends minyan with my husband every morning and studies with him in their Daf Yomi Chabura. It all began on Friday, April 7th. Members of my family were in the Old City that morning as it was the first day of Chol HaMoed. We took a walking tour on the walls of the Old City, then went to the Kotel, and then walked again around the outside walls of the Old City. When we got into the car to return to Efrat, I saw a news report that there was a terror attack and the two sisters from Efrat were killed. Then I saw a WhatsApp status update from Tali Dee. The two victims were her sisters, Maia and Rina, and that she was asking everyone to daven for her mother, Leah Bat Zipporah. I literally screamed in the car. My mind could not process what I just read. My heart was racing. For technical reasons, the media could not announce the names of these victims until after Shabbos, but all of Efrat knew who they were. When we got home, I saw a message that there was going to be a gathering for Tehillim in a neighbor's house, so I went with my mother and my eldest daughter, Chaya. Later, there was a gathering near a house for teenagers of Efrat to sing and mourn together in the middle of a busy traffic intersection. Chaya and my husband went together. I don't remember much from that Shabbos except for these two important events. First, being in shul and seeing the Dee ladies not in their normal seats, which was very painful. Feeling Lucy's absence caused me to cry for the first time. There wasn't supposed to be a women's shiur that Shabbos, but last minute a shiur was organized with over 60 women in attendance to support one another, say Tehillim, and learn some Torah. After Shabbos, our shul Zayit Ranan organized a gathering to daven for Lucy, then to mourn, sing, and cry together. After we davened, the crowd divided into two groups, men in one room and women in another. The hardest part of this gathering was seeing how many mothers were comforting their daughters as they wept from their deep pain, and I was one of those mothers holding my daughter Chaya. Chaya was only 2 years younger than Rina, and she felt that Rina was always so friendly and warm to her when we were neighbors and when they were in the same school. As Chaya and I walked out of shul that night, I turned to a few friends in tears and said, for nearly an hour, the only thought that went through my mind was, this isn't normal for mothers to have to comfort their daughters in this way. It just isn't. The days that followed were filled with more gatherings in our shul for davening for Lucy, mourning, and shiurim that offered chizuk, attending 2 funerals that had thousands of fellow Israelis in attendance, and the second one being in cold, wet weather on Erev Chag, and lots of crying. Lucy's death was announced at around 3:30 p.m. on Monday afternoon, and after that time, there was a severe change in the weather. The sky darkened, and a massive thunderstorm came and stayed until Thursday night. We felt like Hashem was crying for her death too. Here is a picture that a friend's husband took of a bolt of lightning striking down above the Zayit neighborhood at the start of that storm that Monday afternoon. All of the Gush came out to show love and support to the Dees by lining the streets of Efrat and the highways with Israeli flags as they made their way to the funerals. We also lined the streets of Efrat with our flags on Monday afternoon when they made their way home from the hospital after Lucy died. Here are a few pictures of these street gatherings, and even in cold, pouring rain, we showed up. I want to shift the presentation now to show the power of love that can transcend boundaries and space. In the aftermath of the tragedy, several Israeli communities have shown their love and support to the residents of the Zayat, and they don't even know us. Here are some pictures of gifts, of treats, flags, and plants sent to us by different communities during the week of Shiva and afterwards. Neve Daniel, Modi'in, Leshem, Karmit Zur, Elazar, Beersheba. I want to highlight two additional communities in particular. Birkat HaYarden. This is a region in which the terror attack took place, and the residents are on the front lines living in an area that are victims of these attacks. They sent hundreds of homemade baked goods to our shul the Shabbos after Pesach, saying, "We are with you." Then their local farmers sent boxes and boxes of produce to the Shiva house, again to show their love. As a result of this terror attack, one of the secular yeshuvim in the region decided that all of their ladies would start to light Shabbos candles. When I heard this story last week, I was so moved because it shows the power of the Pintele Yid who wants to do good and share light. A second community I want to highlight is Har Bracha. This is the yeshuv in the Shomron where the Yaniv brothers lived. Hallel and Yagal were killed in a terror attack in their car at the end of February. Their community brought small Israeli flags and put up banners all over our neighborhood showing their love and support during this painful period. Thousands of Jews visited the Dee home during the week of Shiva from all over the country. I volunteered at the Shiva house one morning and met two women who came from Zichron Yaakov, which is a 2-hour drive away, and I was handed a package of food items that were sent from the Golan. And here's a picture of the girls who delivered this package. Here's a picture of Leo talking with Haridim. We were especially honored to be visited by Rabbi Ephraim Goldberg and Rabbi Shai Shachter from the United States, along with many politicians. Additionally, many people who lost family members to acts of terror also showed up to the Shiva house to express Anochi Imachem B'Tzara, such as Noah Littman and Rina Ariel. Additionally, I want to now focus on the good deeds that my community did during this period of mourning. To reciprocate their love shown to us by Birkat HaYarden, my community organized last week an effort to make homemade cakes for them that were delivered on Thursday, and this banner was made to show our appreciation to them. 10 banners were put up in secular yeshuvim in this region. Members of my community sent fruit platters during the week of Shiva to the family in Tiberia who lost 2 children in a flash flood while they were driving south to Eilat over the last days of Pesach. Both communities were sitting Shiva at the same time. Now I turn to you. Now that we received so much love from the Israeli local communities, I want to empower you all to show your love and support from afar. As a member of my community living during this period of mourning for the loss of 3 special people, one of whom was a dear friend, I have been on the receiving end of many messages from friends near and far who just said, "I am thinking of you. I am with you in your pain." It was so heartwarming to receive this warmth and concern. Know that our community is really suffering. There are kids who are afraid to leave their homes for the fear of terror attacks. There are students mourning the death of their beloved teacher, and here is a picture of a banner in the school over Yehuda where Lucy taught. There are teenagers who are mourning the loss of a dear friend. There are kids in a youth group mourning the loss of their youth leader who had a tremendous impact on their lives. There are so many acts of love that you can send to the communities who suffered these tragic attacks just in 2023 alone. The attack in Neve Yaakov on a January Friday night. Ramot from the Pele Boys on a February Friday afternoon. Har Bracha from the Yaniv brothers on a Sunday morning. And Efrat from the Dee family, from the Dee ladies on Chol Hamoed Pesach. We will be happy to take any notes and care packages from your community back to Efrat. Additionally, the Dee family is partnering with the city of Efrat to create 3 memorial projects. A simcha hall named for Lucy, an outdoor spring and recreational spot in memory of Maia, and a youth center in memory of Rina. Your donations will be greatly appreciated. To donate, search for JGive and Dee Family. All of Am Yisrael is one family, so we need to feel the love during this challenging time from Jews all over the world. Thank you.